Emma Collins had been missing for 24 hours. When the FBI entered their critical 48-hour window, parents were desperate. Police had lost the trail, and media pressure was mounting. That's when Sarah Murphy, the quiet dog walker from Central Park, approached the officers and said calmly, "I can find Emma." No one knew she was Agent Sarah Cross, who had worked CIA Counterintelligence for 12 years. Sarah Murphy had been walking dogs in Central Park for 5 years. At 41, she was the kind of person you'd pass on the street without a second glance. Medium height, brown hair usually pulled back in a ponytail, wearing comfortable walking shoes and a faded jacket. She had 3 regular clients: Max, a golden retriever; Luna, a German shepherd; and Buddy, a energetic border collie. "Sarah's reliable," said Mrs. Henderson, Max's owner. "Rain or shine, she's here at 7 a.m. Very professional, very quiet." Sarah's routine never varied. Early morning walk around the reservoir, afternoon session near the playground, evening stroll through the wooded paths. She knew every inch of the park, every regular jogger, every vendor, every face that belonged. The other dog walkers found her pleasant but distant. She never joined their conversations about weekend plans or family drama. When asked about her background, she'd simply say, "I've always loved animals." What they didn't know was that Sarah's observational skills weren't just professional dog walking habits. For 5 years, she had been mentally cataloging every person, every vehicle, every pattern in Central Park. Old habits from a different life. Park security officer Mike Rodriguez had noticed her consistency. "That lady with the 3 dogs? She's like clockwork, never misses a day, never causes trouble. Wish all our regulars were like that." Sarah kept to herself, but she kept her eyes open, always. Sarah Murphy wasn't her real name. For 12 years, she had been Agent Sarah Cross, CIA Counterintelligence Division, specializing in human trafficking and international kidnapping cases. From 2008 to 2020, she had worked undercover operations across Eastern Europe, Southeast Asia, and Central America. She spoke 4 languages fluently, could read behavioral patterns like a textbook, and had personally rescued 47 kidnapping victims. Her specialty was child abduction cases. Sarah understood predator psychology, trafficking networks, and the critical first 48 hours when most victims were either found or lost forever. But in 2020, an operation in Romania went wrong. Sarah's cover was blown, and her partner Agent Michael Torres was killed in the firefight. The trauma, combined with 12 years of seeing humanity's darkest corners, broke something inside her. She requested immediate retirement and disappeared into civilian life. The CIA gave her a new identity: Sarah Murphy, dog walker, invisible and safe. For 5 years, she had successfully buried Agent Sarah Cross beneath a life of simple routines and animal companionship. But training like hers never really goes away, it just waits. Tuesday morning started like any other. Sarah was walking Max near the playground when she noticed the commotion. Police cars, worried parents, officers taking statements. A crowd had gathered near the swings. Sarah approached with Max, staying on the periphery but listening carefully. Emma Collins, 7 years old, blonde hair, wearing a pink backpack. An officer was saying into his radio, "Last seen at approximately 3:30 p.m. yesterday near the playground." Sarah's blood ran cold. A child abduction, 18 hours old, in her territory. Every instinct she'd suppressed for 5 years, suddenly activated. She watched the investigation unfold. FBI agents arrived, established a command post, began interviewing witnesses. The parents, David and Jennifer Collins, were barely holding together. Sarah recognized the signs immediately. This wasn't a custody dispute or a wandering child. This was an organized abduction. She spent the next 6 hours, observing from a distance, walking her dogs, while mentally mapping the crime scene, noting which areas the FBI had missed, cataloging details that trained civilian officers wouldn't catch. By Wednesday morning, 24 hours after Emma's disappearance, Sarah could see the investigation stalling. The FBI had set up their mobile command unit, but leads were going cold. The critical 48-hour window was half gone. Agent Jennifer Martinez was briefing the team when Sarah approached with Max. "Excuse me," Sarah said quietly. "I'm sorry to interrupt, but I can find Emma." Agent Martinez looked up, annoyed. "Ma'am, we appreciate the concern, but this is an FBI operation. We need you to stay back." "Agent Martinez," Sarah continued, her voice carrying an authority that made the FBI agent pause. "My name is Sarah Cross, CIA Counterintelligence, badge number 4471, retired, but current on protocol. I've worked 23 child abduction cases internationally. I can find this girl." The conversation stopped. Agent Martinez stared at Sarah. "Did you say CIA? 12 years. Human trafficking and kidnapping specialist. I've been watching this park for 5 years. I know every pattern, every anomaly, and yesterday, something was wrong." Agent Martinez called her supervisor. Within 30 minutes, Sarah's identity was confirmed through CIA channels. Agent Sarah Cross, decorated officer, 23 successful recoveries, early retirement, following trauma in Romania. "Why didn't you come forward yesterday?" Martinez asked. "Because I'm retired," Sarah replied. "But we're approaching the 48-hour mark, and that little girl doesn't have time for my personal issues." Sarah was brought into the command post. The FBI team was skeptical but desperate. Lead agent Robert Chen briefed her on their findings. Abduction occurred between 3:30 and 4 p.m. No witnesses to the actual grab. Child was playing alone, while mother talked to another parent 50 yards away. No ransom demand, no custody issues. Sarah studied the case files, then asked, "Have you checked the storm drain access points?" Storm drains. Human traffickers use underground access for transportation, less visible than streets. This park has 14 maintenance entrances to the tunnel system. The FBI team exchanged glances. They hadn't considered the underground angle. Sarah's transformation was immediate and complete. Gone was the quiet dog walker. Agent Sarah Cross was back, and she brought 12 years of expertise to a case that was rapidly going cold. "Max," she called to her golden retriever. "Come here, boy." Agent Martinez watched as Sarah pulled something from her jacket. A small piece of fabric. "Is that?" "From Emma's backpack. I found it caught on a fence near the playground yesterday." Max isn't just a pet. He was trained in the CIA Canine program for tracking and detection. Sarah held the fabric to Max's nose. The dog immediately alerted, his entire demeanor changing from friendly pet to working animal. "He's got the scent," Sarah announced, "and I think I know where they took her." Sarah led the team to an area of the park she'd been mentally mapping for years. "There's a maintenance shed here that's been abandoned for 8 months. Access to the tunnel system, multiple exit points, invisible from main paths." As they approached, Max's alerting intensified. The abandoned maintenance shed was hidden behind overgrown bushes, exactly where Sarah predicted. FBI tactical teams surrounded the area, while Sarah and Agent Martinez coordinated the approach. "Movement inside," reported the tactical leader. 2 adults, 1 small figure. Sarah's heart raced. "That's Emma." "We go in quiet. Sudden moves could trigger violence." The breaching was textbook perfect. FBI agents moved in simultaneously from 3 angles, while Sarah coordinated from the command position. Her years of tactical experience merged seamlessly with their operation. Inside the shed, they found Emma Collins alive but terrified, along with 2 men who had been preparing to transport her through the tunnel system. The trafficking route Sarah suspected was confirmed. These weren't random kidnappers, but part of an organized network. Emma was rescued unharmed, 36 hours after her disappearance, well within the critical window. The reunion between Emma and her parents was emotional beyond words. David Collins could barely speak through his tears. "How did you find her so quickly?" Agent Martinez looked at Sarah. "Your dog walker isn't who you think she is." Sarah knelt down to Emma's level. "You're safe now, sweetheart. You're going home." Jennifer Collins grabbed Sarah's hands. "I don't understand. How did you—" "I just know this park very well," Sarah said quietly, deflecting attention as she always had. But Agent Martinez wasn't letting it go. "Mrs. Collins, this woman is a hero. She's former CIA, specialized in exactly this kind of case. Emma is alive because Agent Cross never stopped watching this park." Later that evening, after the media interviews and police reports, Sarah sat on her usual bench with Max. Agent Martinez approached. "Sarah, that was incredible work today. Your skills, your intuition, your wasted walking dogs." "I'm retired," Sarah replied firmly. "The Bureau could use someone with your expertise. Consulting basis, child abduction cases. You'd save lives." Sarah was quiet for a long moment, watching families play in the playground where Emma had been taken. "Agent Martinez, I spent 12 years seeing the worst of humanity. I came here to find peace, And you did find peace, but today, you also found Emma. Sarah looked down at Max, who was calmly watching the park activities. What if I'm not ready for that world again? Then you work at your own pace. But Sarah, there are other Emmas out there. Other parents who need hope. You can't unknow what you know. 3 months later, Sarah Murphy officially became a consultant for the FBI's Child Abduction Rapid Deployment Team. She kept her apartment near Central Park and continued walking dogs, but now she also traveled to urgent cases across the country. Her first consulting case was in Denver, a 5-year-old boy missing for 30 hours. Sarah arrived with Max and found him within 6 hours, hidden in an abandoned warehouse by a trafficking ring similar to Emma's case. The Denver rescue made national news. Former CIA agent turned dog walker saves missing child. But Sarah still refused most interview requests. She preferred to work quietly, the way she always had. 1 year after Emma's rescue, Sarah was back in Central Park with her 3 dogs, when she saw a familiar face. Emma Collins, now 8, was playing on the swings with her mother watching closely nearby. Emma spotted Sarah and ran over. "It's the lady with the nice dogs. Mommy, it's her." Jennifer Collins approached with tears in her eyes. "Sarah, I can't believe we ran into you. Emma talks about you all the time." Emma hugged Max around the neck. "Is this the dog that found me?" Sarah smiled. "Max is very good at finding people who need help. Are you going to help more kids like me?" Sarah looked at the playground, then at Emma's bright, curious eyes. "Yes, sweetheart. I think I am." Today, Agent Sarah Cross, formerly Murphy, works with the FBI, while maintaining her cover as a Central Park dog walker. She has assisted in 12 child recovery cases, with a 100% success rate. Max now works with the FBI Canine Unit on special cases, though he still enjoys his daily walks in the park. The other dogs, Luna and Buddy, have become therapy animals for recovered children. Emma Collins sends Sarah a Christmas card every year. This year's message read, "Thank you for watching over the playground. Love, Emma." Sarah's story reminds us that heroes often hide in plain sight. Sometimes the most important person in your neighborhood is the one you never notice. And sometimes the skills that haunt you become the skills that save lives. The quiet dog walker, who found Emma, teaches us that retirement from service doesn't mean retirement from caring. And sometimes, finding peace means using your gifts to ensure others never lose theirs. This story was brought to you by The Story Begins. If you know someone who carries extraordinary skills in ordinary places, share their story in the comments. Subscribe to honor those who serve others, whether in CIA operations or Central Park, and help keep these incredible stories alive.